Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition here of the PiGosaur Cup. PiGosaur Cup number 51, your weekly dose of a PiGosaur Cup action. A very special edition as well, as there was a little bit of discussion in the chat. For those who are unaware, the patch is live. The patch went live a couple of hours ago while we were sleeping, while we were in bed, after the conclusion of Tuna Cup, of course. Tuna Cup was what, like 8, 9, 10 hours, sorry, yeah, 8, 7 hours ago. But of course, after Tuna Cup did conclude and while we were asleep, did go live. So this is going to be the very first tournament held on the new patch. Now, a couple of things here, as I'm kind of glossing over it. The fact that, one, yes, the patch is live. Two, very little testing. I personally, and I think many, are a little bit surprised and shocked and a little bit concerned about the patch going live as quickly as it did, because, for those who are unaware as well, the patch that is live is not the same, has different changes, compared to the PTR. Like, basically, the PTR went live, the PTR got updated after like 4 days, and the PTR version of the game is different to the patch that just went live. Other changes have been made to the game without any testing. So again, really fast and zero testing with a lot of these changes. Now, when it comes to what the changes are, compared to the PTR, compared to what was live, 5 hours ago, more changes were made to Storm. So Storm has been adjusted even more. Changes have been made to the Ghost as well. Changes have been made to the Disruptor as well. So there's quite a lot here. If you remember, previously in the PTR, the Disruptor had an increased radius, but now the radius was decreased and the cooldown was decreased instead. So now the radius was what it was before, but now you can Nova. Now you can send out Novas a lot faster, a lot more consistently, a lot more frequently, I should say. There we go. So you can send out Novas more frequently. Meanwhile, when it comes to the Ghost, big change. Ghost supply was reduced from 3 to 2. From 3 supply to 2 supply, so now you can make more Ghosts again. So you can now mass Ghost. I would say that it's a negative change, but they have actually changed the Ghost attribute to Light. So now Ghosts are light units, which means Ghosts are more vulnerable. They are going to be more vulnerable to Banelings. Before, it used to take 6 Banelings to kill 1 Ghost. Now 3 Banelings. That's going to be a big change for TvZ. Likewise, it'll be a big change for this, because I believe Colossus now also deal extra damage, bonus damage, of course, to light units. Colossus are now going to be much more effective against the Ghost. So that's only the tip. Like, there's still other changes as well, of course, other changes that again were not tested on the PTR. But here we go. Spawning in the top side of Last Fantasy, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss. So yeah, the blue Protoss player himself, representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gabba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as you get into our matchup. The match is genuinely insane. I mean, again, I'm a little bit surprised that that it just went live as quickly as it did. Again, without any testing. Like, that's my biggest gripe with it. If you recall, when it came to us during the podcast, like, I was very optimistic because it was like, oh, like, we're getting really fast regular updates to the PTR. This is a good thing. Like, things are changing, things are different, and we're probably going to be getting more and more updates more frequently. That's like, this is a positive aspect of what's happening with the PTR. But then they just went live with it. It's like, oh, it's like that's kind of crazy. It's kind of weird. What's going on? Aye. But they also adjusted the Storm, of course. Storm, one of the big feedbacks, or one of the criticisms of Storm, and a lot of the feedback was in regards to how large it was. So the Storm radius was decreased. They decreased the Storm radius. It's still larger than it once was, but smaller than it was on the PTR. So the radius has been decreased. I want to say that one of the big changes is the cast range was decreased for Storm. So that's going to be another big factor, actually, is that now, I mean, TvP is going to be very different, because on the one hand, High Templar are going to be more exposed because they have to move further in to actually storm, right? Especially because of the radius. It does mean that the center of the storm is further out there as well, because the radius was increased, and likewise the cast range was decreased as well, so the High Templar has to be more exposed. On top of that, there are going to be more ghosts and more EMPs available to counteract said storms. But at the same time, with the light tag being added to the Ghost, then it's possible. I mean, we already saw this leading into this week. If you recall, we've been seeing more Colossus-based play anyway, so we might be seeing more Colossus-based openers to be a little bit safer, to shut down that kind of play, or faster transitions out of pure High Templar, faster transitions into Colossus instead. I mean, the thing is that everything that I'm saying is very theoretical, just because we didn't get to test and we didn't get to see like how the light tag impacts TvP, how it's going to impact transitions into Colossus. Likewise, you have of course the Viking change to make it cheaper and easier to transition into Vikings, or to make Vikings as well. Like this, TvP is going to be interesting to say the least. It's going to be impacted quite a bit. I'm also a little bit sad that this event does not have any TLMC maps. Merge. But at least we were able to feature, we were the first tournament. We were the first tournament last night to feature all the new TLMC maps. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It led to some really entertaining games. If you missed out, I do recommend it. I do recommend checking out the VODs for Tuna Cup last night, as we had a full, fresh set of TLMC 21 maps. But now we're live with the patch. So now it is going to be a Stargate open out of Shameless Stargate into a Robo. Okay. I mean, hey, on the new patch, are we going Phoenix? Is Phoenix Colossus back? Let's go, baby. Let's go. As it's been a while since we've embraced something like Phoenix Colossus. For now, we have our 1-1-1 out of ByuN going for his initial drop play. And speaking of, Shameless is in position to deny. Does own away. Hoping the patch changes things up. I mean, as we mentioned, like TvP is going to be different. I do still think that there's going to be a lot of issues in TvP. I will say that I don't believe that the changes addressed. I would say one of the biggest core issues about Terran versus Protoss, that is the mid game. Like Terran have very little mid game presence, and that's why it's so easy for Protoss players to gain map control and to lock down the map itself. So I don't think the current iteration of the patch actually addresses any of that, unfortunately. There's still going to be a lot of changes when it comes to the army dynamics, which I think is a good thing. Like that's going to be very different. Yeah, the strength of Terran mid game is unchanged, if not maybe even slightly weaker. So that is a big concern for me. Go. TvP is going to be worse with Storm buffs and Ghost nerfs. Kind of. Like, I think the consensus was that Storms are going to be doing less damage, of course, just because at the highest level, like, players are already pre-splitting anyway against Storms, so that they're doing less damage initially. Like, the issue with the Storm was how much burst damage it would deal with the first, like, hit. So now it's more forgiving. Now it's less unforgiving, maybe a way of putting it. So that is going to help quite a bit. But and likewise, as we mentioned, High Templar are going to be more exposed as they attempt to Storm. But I would imagine that we're going to be seeing faster transitions out of Storm into Colossus. Like, again, like, I don't think Storm's going to be much of an issue. Like, as I mentioned, like, the mid-game strength is kind of, like, the biggest issue for me. Biggest concern. So far, getting the first tank, and the Cyclones as well. Phoenixes, they will be able to break through. The Immortals, boys are being pulled, and ByuN is holding. ByuN, he does hold on, but with that, he did lose his tanks, did lose his Cyclones, did lose the backbone of his army, and ByuN, he should be contained from here. Larger radius honestly negates this. I mean, from testing, from what we've seen, like, it's a pretty big change, just because Terran is going to be taking less damage regarding Storm. But again, like, that doesn't address the mid game necessarily, because it's still going to be used to zone is the thing. Like, it's still going to be like zoning away the player and still allowing for like map control for the Protoss. Like, that's what's important. We do EMP the Phoenixes. Getting a couple of ghosts here from behind. Meanwhile, Shameless is going to be building up onto 4 bases, building up into 3 Colossus. Now, from here, Shameless can go for a second robo into Disruptors or start working towards Storm, one or the other. It's better zoning. Yeah. It's better zoning damage output is much higher now, kind of. Like, I think, from my understanding, the consensus amongst the pro players is that it's gonna hurt like lower league or lower level Terrans more because they're gonna be standing in the storms more, as opposed to like the higher tier players, which won't be. Shameless looking for a better angle of attack, getting to charge. We'll see if he can break through. Again, there are some EMPs available, but Colossus, they don't care about your EMPs. Yeah, they don't. The Colossus, they should break through the Ghosts. Viking Hunt is getting up there. But so far, Shameless's goal here is to zone away the Vikings. Zone away the Vikings, protect the Colossus. And I feel like this is something that's going to have to be adjusted more. The second starport was a little bit later here for ByuN, but I feel like getting into a second starport is going to have to be faster moving forward here. As Vikings, they do catch both Colossus though. They get one, they get 2. 2 Colossus go down, but ByuN, he will lose the expansion. And again, Ghosts are that much less effective against Colossus right now, thanks to the light tag. ByuN, he will force this back. Shameless just has to get the hell out of here. Get out of there, Pappy. Get out of there. And Shameless, the ideal here, or the idea is that you rebuild. You rebuild your Emax. You get ready here for the eventual all-in. ByuN, he should be all-in here. He's down to 2 bases. And can he commit to the only force fields? Oh, 1 sentry. Just 1 sentry here for Shameless. ByuN can move in, still has a terrifying army. Does EMP, gets the last Colossus. Zelta come in from behind. Yeah, very nice flank. Dives on the Marauders. And Shameless, he should clean this up. He should completely clean this up. Shuts down all the fire, the Marauders. GG gets called, and Shameless, he shuts down ByuN, takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Again, it is patch day and adjustments are going to have to be made here. ByuN, again, when it came to... I feel like he was a little bit on autopilot. Winding it back here, ByuN going into all those Ghosts as quickly and as heavily as he did is what you do against a more storm-heavy start and a storm-heavy composition. By opening up Phoenix Colossus, though, that's what we did need, that faster second starport, did need those Vikings. Oh, as we saw the Colossus, they just went ham. Oh my god. There goes Pappy, they melted. Make sure we get all the casters in. Sorry, Bomeo just joining us. He's joining us, Pappy, joining us. Are we playing the PTR? No, no, no. Patch is live. Patch is live. I want big shout out to Blake who's in the chat. God, Pappy, God. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for supporting. Thanks so much for the 100 bits. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. Spawning in the top right hand corner of Tokamak, we have the red Terran play. We have the red Terran, South Green Terran representing Shopify. It is a ByuN. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the blue Protoss. The blue Protoss for himself representing Little Fairy. It is a Shameless. Here we go, as we are loading into one of the larger maps of the map pool. As we're loading into one of the larger maps here, the rush distance by ground is going to be longer. Going for these earlier kind of Colossus timings with 3 Colossus is going to take more time, more effort, is going to be less effective here for Shameless. So we'll see how he does decide to open up. Does he open up Phoenix Colossus again, or does he go for something a little bit different here? I can see the strength though in opening and relying on Phoenix Colossus, especially in the early days of the patch, just because Terrans are so like, they're so, what's the word I'm looking for, but they're so like, not practice, what's the conditioned, there we go. They're so conditioned to go into early ghosts, where right now this is where Colossus can overwhelm, can break through, can punish like an earlier ghost commitment. Conditioned. There we go. So the meta is shifting. And with this ByuN going for an economic opener, going for a Vax expand. Let's go for his economic start. Unfortunately, I was looking forward to potentially seeing some Zerg gameplay, but I mean, we're not going to see any of that come into play here tonight, unfortunately. I was checking the bracket. We'll be getting into it after the series, but this week there's no Solar, there's no Shin. So without either of those two, like there's no Zerg representation. It feels bad, man. Feels bad. Next time. We'll get him in, Packer. We'll get him in. Just to see the changes, basically. That's what I was hoping for. Because I feel like it'll, in my opinion, I feel like it's going to change quite a bit here. I think Cranky's analysis was that right now players are already opening up Infestor anyway. Like that's the meta currently of ZVT, is going Roche, Ling Bane, Infestor, or Ling Infestor. And that kind of style is probably going to be incentivized even more. The Baneling change is huge though, because now you might just, straight up Ling Bane might be more viable than Roche openers. I'm hoping that that's the case. That's what I think everyone wants. Is get rid of the Roach openers, man. Get rid of them. Get them out of here. The hope. As Shameless going for 2K Blink. Yo, how long has it been since we've seen 2K Blink into a third? It's been a while. Okay. So Shameless going for a very greedy opener here. I mean, we're also on Tokamak, so it makes sense that you wouldn't be able to get away with that. This is where something like 2-base all-ins would be favored. But remember, ByuN, he's not fond of 2-base all-ins. True. So the likelihood of Shameless being punished here is much lower. Much lower. And this building up to 4 gateways, a robo after the third. Let's get the drop into the main. So far dealing some decent damage, nothing major. Going for the sentry. Sentry goes down. Some nice pickles here out of ByuN. It should be a one-way trip here, and he's going to be able to target down a couple more probes. He gets 5. Can we get 6? Can we get 7? We can. 7, 8 probe kills, and not bad. 8 workers go down just for a drop of Marines. So not a bad start behind this, getting to his own standard 3-1-1 setup. This time he should be preserving his tanks. Remember, if you recall in game 1, ByuN, he lost his tanks early, so he kind of lost any kind of pushing power he would have been working on. So he's going to be stuck at home. Shameless is being active. Blink is done. Does have high ground vision. With this, he can potentially find a way into the main. There's no bunker. No safety bunker. With buyers in position. ByuN is secure. He is secure. And Shameless is getting to a heavy gateway composition. From here, this should lead into Storm, but technically, Shameless has the option to go into Colossus. Much more traditional style. Getting a +1 charge. From here, can soon work towards a 4th base. Speaking of bases, a 3rd CC is on the way for ByuN, so ByuN is slowly getting into the mid game. As we mentioned, ByuN, he's not really one to go for 2 base all-ins. Not his style. ByuN does break out. And we're still waiting to see the direction that Shameless takes us in. As ByuN is going to be pushing. Shameless does spot this. We need those Zealot Warpins. Bay's on the way, so he's going into Colossus. Nice time for the Observer. Observer goes down. And he can get on top of the tanks. Oh, he's going for the Bio Army, forcing friendly. Oh my god, the friendly fire! And I'm pretty sure ByuN's would have might dealt more damage than the Zealots there. That was brutal. Brutal friendly fire here. ByuN, he will lose the Bio Army. He has to get the hell out of here. And he might just be overwhelmed. He just lost all of his tanks, so the defensive setup here is that much weaker. There's no tanks, there's no bunkers. Shameless, tempted to just go in. Ay, ay, ay. Now, I was questioning the Zealots not going straight for the tanks, but it was worth it in the end. Very well worth it. Oh, the friendly fire. Here's Shameless pulling away. True, the Widowmine change. Hidden nerf to Terran, because now they can kill each other that much faster. They can kill themselves that much faster. True, true. That was the plan all along. As again, ByuN, he's stuck at home. Stuck at home, he's going to be stuck turtling. Meanwhile, he's building up into Ghost production. He has yet to really confirm what Shameless is up to in regards to his splash damage. As we can see, we're prioritizing Colossus. ByuN does have a couple of Vikings, thankfully. He's making 2 Vikings at a time. And he should be able to build up into a relatively comfortable count. As opposed to the previous game, Shameless is not being anywhere near as assertive or aggressive just because his Colossus production was delayed, so he's just chilling back at home, taking more bases, and looking to max out. So from here, we're building up. They delay the CC. ByuN is trying to be active. Vikings, we get a volley off, but they're going to be zoned away. Zoned away, not too many stalkers here. With EMPs, ByuN can try to engage. We're going to play it safe. Got to calm down. You can see Shameless getting ready for his Zealot run by. He's warping in. And we'll see if Shameless can distract. Yeah, the goal here to keep ByuN's attention at the third. Here come the Zealots. Making the way in, ByuN does notice. Zealots, they don't quite get into the mineral line. Some of them do. Shameless has to get the hell out of here. He will lose one Colossus. Yeah, we'll lose one. But Zealots, they get in. Yeah, they get into the mineral line. 15 SCV is going to be going down. Ay, ay, ay. Again, ByuN was distracted. Does kill the Colossus, though. Yeah, Colossus go down, but that's going to be 15 dead SCVs. Brutal losses there for ByuN. And from here, Shameless going into a second robo, doubling down on Colossus. Speaking of, there is a second star for ByuN. As I was just diving in, trading well against some Marauders, Vikings forced to land, and resetting these Vikings is going to be huge. No, no. Yeah, Vikings will be falling. Bearing in mind that, again, Shameless is rebuilding his Colossus. Actually, now going to Disruptor, never mind. But now would be the time to just double down and just rebuild Colossi. As we're down to a very low Viking count. Shameless going for the gold. Now, when it comes to the Disruptor, we did mention this before. The radius was not increased for the Disruptor, but I believe the cooldown was reduced. So you can Nova more often. So Novas, they can be spent more often now. Which is huge, actually. It is going to be a pretty big buff to them. Just because typically, like, that you'd be counting down, or you'd be aware that, okay, the Novas are spent, now there's a window in time where you can push in, where you can dive, where you know that you're safe. That's gonna have to be like, there's like an internal clock, and that's gonna have to be adjusted as to how quickly Novas are available. Oh, this rally loses one. One Disruptor goes down. Let's bring down the expansion, not bad. Base is full. Shameless, where are the warp ins? So, Shameless, he has a perfectly fine economy. How many gateways are we on? 11. Oh, we could do with extra gateways here, but Shameless, he's having a hard time spending his money here. He's got 2,000, 3,000 minerals. I hate Bappy. Thankfully, ByuN drops into the main, doesn't push. Meadows going to be going down. It's going to be a one-way trip, but that's he. Oh no, he bleeds out a lot of ghosts. 3 ghosts going down. Ay, ay, ay. Brutal losses there for ByuN. This drop was not worth it. He depowered gateways for 3 ghosts. Shameless building back up. He can do with getting more gases. Now, moving out. Or at least extra gateways. At least back. It's being sent out, no major connection. Oh, I spoke too soon. DC is getting ready for a counterattack. Remember, there's less of a delay after they blink. There you go, they do blink in. They 1, 2, 3 volleys. The SCV repairs are not in time, and the base does go down. Down goes the expansion. Shameless moving in. Again, DTs were also changed. Shameless embracing all the changes, actually. Like, like, Shameless, he was so quick to just switch into more, like, Colossus-heavy styles into Disruptor. Just because it all does fare better now than it once did. So quick, man. Nova's decent spread here from ByuN. There are a lot of Novas. And Shameless, he can just keep pushing. Keep pushing and moving in. Likewise, splits are decent, but the Novas, they still gain value, they still get damage done. And here come the Zealot reinforcements, and Shameless, he should be able to overwhelm. He should have enough here. Oh, the Nova! Oh my god, massive connections! Novas, they pop off, and Shameless, he will claim the series. He will take it. Ay, ay, ay. We don't need the Novas anymore, but it's GG gets called. And Shameless, he will claim the series 2-0. He'll take down ByuN and advance on in the series, or in the tournament. GG. GG. Whew. GG, well played. And again, I was most impressed by Shameless' ability to, again, adapt to the new patch and to try things out in a way that he did. Game 1 was brutal, as we mentioned. ByuN, he was hyper-fixated on building up into early Ghost production. He was punished by the earlier Colossus timing, at least in Game 1. Here in Game 2, we saw that we were able to embrace the mid-game a little bit more. That is true. But alas, Shameless, he was able to, again, get value done early on, get a lot of value. He was able to shut down the first push. He was able to shut down the drop play as well. And GG. GG, well played. Kind of the moments I would say where Shameless really gained a lot of value and really gained momentum was when he distracted the main army of ByuN, came in with the Zealot run-by, got into the middle lane, and killed 15 SCVs. 15 workers went down. That did slow ByuN down quite heavily. Shameless able to just gain momentum from there. GG. GG. And with that, ByuN is out of the tournament, and let's catch up on the rest of the bracket. Let us catch up, as we have quite a lot of updates here. So Hero does take down Mudkip Master 2-0 to face off against ByuN in the next round. ByuN, he does get the walkover win over Nickrat. Honestly, I was really looking forward to seeing Nickrat, just because Nickrat is a really different, he's a very different player compared to ByuN, for example. Nickrat is very aggressive, he's very all-in, he's very in your face. I would have loved to have seen kind of that style instead. ByuN is a little more passive, he's a little more defensive, he's a little more macro-oriented. So because of that, Shameless, he did have a little more freedom, a lot more breathing room to do what he so pleased. Shameless did have a much more comfortable time against ByuN. And Nickrat, he unfortunately did forfeit.